Kirk's ex-boyfriend Kabat Shalom was on Ellen DeGeneres' show being all fake and gay. And if you know about Kabat having a pizza tattoo on his...
Living in China and doing a lot of work with the victims from sex trafficking, work with a orphanage in Rome. Out here. I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was.
This situation involving Erika Kirk has taken a turn that many people online describe as unsettling, to say the least. Over the past few weeks, internet discussions around her past connections have grown louder, especially after attention shifted to one of her former partners, Cabot Phillips. What started as casual online curiosity quickly escalated once users began resurfacing Cabot's older social media content. Some posts taken out of context or interpreted creatively sparked intense debate across platforms. That's when the conversation expanded beyond Erika herself and into Cabot's public history. As people dug deeper, many were surprised to learn that Cabot didn't just appear online by chance. Years ago, he received a major visibility boost after appearing on the Ellen DeGeneres show, hosted by Ellen DeGeneres. At the time, the segment was framed as a lighthearted, family-friendly moment. Cabot appeared alongside his siblings to talk about a prank video that had gone viral, and the audience response was overwhelmingly positive. It played like classic daytime TV, wholesome, funny, and harmless. But as often happens online, people began revisiting that moment years later with a very different lens. Some viewers pointed out that major daytime shows are carefully produced.
That looks great. Very stereotypical.
There's a reunion.
Have you? I hope so too. Have you met Jen before?
No, I haven't. Thing with Courtney and Lisa, and they invited me over for pizza, and Judd Apatow was there too.
You've been to my house. We've had pizza. Girl after my own heart. Do we love a pizza or what? We love a pizza. It's so good. So.
Where guest appearances are planned well in advance and nothing happens randomly on screen. That observation alone fueled more discussion. To be clear, appearing on a major talk show does not imply wrongdoing. But internet commentators often see patterns where none may exist, especially when multiple public figures become loosely connected through past media appearances. As this resurfaced clip circulated again, people online started layering in unrelated discussions, symbolic interpretations, and speculative connections. That's where things began drifting far away from verified facts and into the realm of interpretation and theory. Around the same time, separate conversations began emerging about former staff members connected to Ellen's show, including Steven Twitch Boss. Some online voices claimed that behind-the-scenes tensions or undisclosed issues might have existed. However, it's important to emphasize that no credible evidence supports claims of hidden conspiracies, and such discussions remain speculative.
No. And then as soon as Cabot Phillips, as soon as I saw that picture of him with the pizza thing on inside of his lip on the internet, I was like, that's her ex-boyfriend. It's like,
following his passing, his wife, Allison Holker, publicly defended Ellen, which some online commenters interpreted in different ways. Again, interpretations varied widely, with no confirmed wrongdoing attached to any party. At this point, the conversation had drifted far from Erika Kirk's personal life and turned into a much broader debate about media ecosystems, influence, and how narratives evolve over time. But the story didn't stop there. As people continued examining Erika's past, attention returned to Cabot Phillips, not just as a former partner, but as someone now appearing more frequently in public-facing roles.
Crazy idea that I will order pizza. And so if I do, I don't want it to go to waste. Who will eat pizza if I... Jennifer? Yes? Harrison?
Turning the Oscars into an everyone's invited dinner party with dinner.
What do you think? Julia wants to... Who's your favorite movie star? They're here. Well, who do you want to talk to?
And then passing a very famous hat to pay the delivery guy.
What do you have, Barbie? 200? This is a start. This is a start. Your stock just went up. You got some money now with pizza?
Some viewers questioned why Cabot was suddenly being promoted on college debate circuits and positioned as a figure continuing the style of Charlie Kirk. Before Charlie's passing, Cabot wasn't widely recognized by most audiences. That sudden visibility raised curiosity, not accusations, about timing, opportunity, and alignment. Internet users then revisited old screenshots and posts showing Erika and Cabot interacting online years earlier. Some of these interactions appeared to overlap with timelines Erika had previously described in interviews. That mismatch led to questions about consistency, not proof of deception. To be clear, inconsistent timelines do not equal wrongdoing.
So far back, I was telling these people how far back was what? I mean, okay. All right, I think they would take those in court. No, that don't want no problem. No, it's okay. So, hey, so cheers.
Memory gaps, privacy choices, and public pressure often complicate how people recount personal history. Still, when screenshots resurface, the internet tends to treat them as definitive, even when they're not. This is where the discussion became more focused on narrative shifts. People asked why certain details were emphasized at one time and minimized at another. Who controls public narratives? How much is organic, and how much is shaped by media cycles? When the old Ellen clip featuring Cabot resurfaced again, it added another layer of curiosity. Not because it proved anything, but because it reminded people how interconnected media spaces can be.
Please welcome Cabot, Darren, and their 17-year-old sister, Melissa. So how long ago did this happen?
I got my wisdom teeth out last Thursday. And so it was my first time ever going under general anesthesia.
Wisdom teeth videos, and we thought, what could make it better?
In that 2016 appearance, Cabot showed up with his brother and younger sister to discuss a prank that had gone viral following a dental procedure. At the time, it was treated as a harmless viral moment, and millions of viewers laughed along. Today, that same clip is being re-examined, not because it contains hidden meaning, but because the internet has a habit of recontextualizing old media through modern skepticism. What's clear is this. Much of what's being discussed now exists in the space between fact, memory, and interpretation.
About something very controversial, pizza. And by Parisinis, you can eat your pizza however you want. You can stand, you can kneel, you can go down on the floor if you want. I don't care. It's just as long as you pay. You can have a liberal amount of toppings spread out evenly on your pizza so everyone gets their share.
The crowd is clueless.
Yeah, that's great. Very stereotypical.
Old clips, resurfaced posts, and overlapping timelines don't automatically indicate coordinated intent, but they do invite questions in an era where trust in institutions is low. And that's why this story continues circulating. Not because of confirmed revelations, but because people feel there are gaps. They don't fully understand. At the center of it all is a broader issue: how quickly speculation can snowball when clarity lags behind curiosity. Once a narrative starts forming online, even innocent details can take on unintended meaning. For now, what remains are questions, not conclusions. And until clearer answers emerge, discussions like this will likely keep resurfacing, driven by curiosity rather than confirmation. At first glance, that old TV appearance looked completely harmless, just another lighthearted daytime moment. But as viewers revisited it years later, many said it suddenly didn't feel as innocent as it once did. After the clip from the Ellen DeGeneres show resurfaced, people online began pointing out details they hadn't noticed before. The way the prank was framed, the repeated focus on certain jokes, the camera lingering on Cabot Phillips during specific moments. None of it felt unusual back then, but in hindsight, some viewers felt the segment looked more carefully produced than they remembered. That alone doesn't mean anything improper happened. Major television shows are always tightly produced. Still, the renewed attention sparked fresh discussion online. What made things feel stranger to some people was what happened after that appearance. Not long after the segment aired, Cabot's online presence began to change. Older content disappeared, new posts appeared with a more polished, curated look. To many viewers, it felt like a deliberate shift in presentation rather than a natural evolution. Around the same time, Erika Kirk also began appearing in similar social circles. Influencer-style gatherings, private events, faith-based conferences, fundraisers. Again, none of this proves coordination, but the overlap caught people's attention. Those following the story closely began comparing timelines. Cabot's rise in visibility, Erika's transformation into a prominent public figure. The changes appeared sudden, clean, and well-managed. To online commentators, it felt too polished to be purely accidental. Another layer of curiosity came when people discussed how viral TV segments are selected in the first place. Some users claimed that popular shows often approve segments well in advance, even before content goes viral. Whether that applies here or not, it fueled more speculation about how much planning goes into what audiences eventually see. Taken together, Cabot's growing platform, Erika's carefully shaped narrative, and the resurfacing of old television footage led some viewers to wonder if they were seeing coincidence, or simply the way modern media ecosystems work behind the scenes. On the surface, the Ellen segment was classic daytime entertainment, family-friendly, light, easy to enjoy. But critics online argue that when the same names keep reappearing across tightly controlled spaces, curiosity is inevitable. Ellen's show, like any major production, doesn't bring guests on randomly. Every appearance is vetted. Every story fits a theme. Some viewers now believe that moment served as Cabot's introduction to a much larger audience. Not a conspiracy, but a calculated media opportunity. As people examined that episode more closely, another detail stood out. Sitting in the audience that day was Cabot's father, Tim Phillips, a figure with known ties to political organizations. That alone isn't unusual, but it added another connection that viewers hadn't considered before. Then there's Cabot's brother, Barrett Phillips, who later became affiliated with Cornerstone Chapel, serving in a youth-focused ministry role. That detail drew attention from people tracking overlaps between faith, media, and politics. Again, none of these facts prove wrongdoing. But when political networks, religious institutions, and media platforms overlap repeatedly, audiences naturally start asking how these systems interact. After that television appearance, Cabot's visibility didn't fade. It expanded. Interviews, speaking engagements, podcast appearances. His presence grew steadily, and some felt the momentum looked professionally guided rather than organic. At the same time, Erika's platform continued to grow. Interviews increased. Her story evolved. Her presence in political and religious spaces became more consistent. To online observers, both trajectories appeared to rise in parallel. That parallel growth is what keeps the discussion alive. People noticed the same conferences, the same donors, the same circles. Photos surfaced showing familiar faces appearing together again and again. Some commenters speculated that coordinated PR efforts might explain the smoothness of these transitions. Others argued this is simply how networking works at high levels. Either way, the repeated overlaps stood out. Whenever questions gained traction online, posts disappeared, mentions vanished, videos were removed. Whether routine moderation or coincidence, it added another layer to the conversation. Meanwhile, Erika continued shaping a public narrative that some viewers felt didn't fully align with older statements. Again, shifting narratives don't equal deception, but they do invite scrutiny. To many watching closely, it started to feel like both Erika and Cabot were being positioned carefully. Not randomly, but deliberately placed in spaces where influence, faith, and politics intersect. Is that unusual? Maybe not, but the consistency made it hard for viewers to believe it was all accidental. Too many doors opening at once. Too much polish. Too many connections crossing paths. The more people examined it, the more it felt like a coordinated machine rather than a one-off viral moment. And that's why this story keeps evolving. Not because of proven wrongdoing, but because patterns, real or perceived, keep stacking up. And just when viewers thought they'd seen every strange coincidence, attention shifted again. This time to a detail that many people online described as the most unsettling yet. Now let's talk about the pizza reference, because for a lot of people following this closely, that's where the story took its darkest turn. Back in 2019, Cabot Phillips posted a photo on Instagram that quickly caught attention online. The image showed a tattoo of the word pizza on the inside of his lip, paired with a caption that read, "Good to give yourself a little reminder sometimes." At the time, most people brushed it off as an edgy joke. But years later, viewers began asking a simple question. A reminder of what, exactly? That question gained traction because of past comments made by Charlie Kirk, who had openly warned in several talks and clips that certain words and symbols can take on different meanings depending on context. He specifically said that sometimes people in powerful circles use ordinary language in coded or symbolic ways. To be clear, those statements were his opinions, and interpretations vary widely. But once people remembered those comments, Cabot's tattoo took on new curiosity for viewers already questioning timelines and narratives. What made it more noticeable is that Cabot didn't treat the tattoo like a one-off joke. He referenced it multiple times in captions and comments. One post even included the phrase, "Pizza talk is the new pillow talk," which some people online found confusing in hindsight. Others pointed out that he liked comments under the tattoo post that leaned into the joke even further. None of this proves intent or meaning, but it added fuel to online discussion. At the same time, people began revisiting moments from The Ellen DeGeneres Show, hosted by Ellen DeGeneres. Over the years, Ellen had repeatedly referenced pizza in bits, interviews, and viral moments, most famously during the 2014 Oscars. Originally, those moments were seen as harmless humor, but as viewers rewatched them with fresh eyes, some felt the joke seemed oddly emphasized or repeated more than necessary. Again, this does not imply wrongdoing. Television comedy often relies on recurring bits. However, online communities are quick to look for patterns, especially when the same themes keep resurfacing across different people and platforms. Some viewers noticed that when pizza jokes appeared on Ellen's show, celebrity guests often played along effortlessly, as if it were a familiar reference. Others dismissed this entirely, saying it was just scripted entertainment doing what it always does. Meanwhile, Cabot continued leaning into the theme on his own platforms, liking memes, reposting jokes, and never clarifying what the tattoo meant. To many online, that felt intentional. Not because it proved anything, but because it invited curiosity without answers. As people compared connections, another overlap stood out. Cabot, Ellen, and Erika Kirk all seemed connected to similar media, political and faith-based spaces. Conferences, events, donors, PR teams. Again, none of this is unusual for public figures, but repeated overlap is what keeps people talking. That's where the debate split. Some argue this is all coincidence and pattern-seeking behavior. Others believe symbolism matters in elite circles and that repeated themes aren't accidental. Both sides agree on one thing. The lack of clear explanations leaves room for speculation. Charlie Kirk himself was vocal about questioning power structures, messaging, and media narratives. Whether people agree with his views or not, his comments are often cited because he openly challenged the idea that everything shown publicly should be taken at face value. That's why some viewers find it unsettling that Cabot, someone closely tied to Erika and linked to these symbolic moments, later stepped into spaces once occupied by Charlie. To them, it feels like too many puzzle pieces aligning at once. Add in Ellen's repeated pizza jokes, Cabot's tattoo, shifting narratives, resurfaced clips, and the sudden disappearance of posts, and you get a story that feels unresolved to many people watching. Still, it's important to say this clearly. None of this confirms hidden meaning, criminal behavior, or secret coordination. What it does show is how quickly curiosity grows when transparency feels incomplete. So the real question becomes this: are people online reading too deeply into coincidences? Or are they responding to a pattern that hasn't been clearly addressed? That's where the story sits right now. No conclusions, no final answers. Just a growing number of viewers who feel like something about this narrative doesn't fully add up. And until clear explanations emerge, people will keep rewatching, reanalyzing, and asking questions. That's the internet for you. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I genuinely want to know what you think is going on here. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe Behind the Fame Chanel, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. Because this story is far from finished.